Hi, my name is Michael, and I'd like to share with you a moment that changed my life forever. I was driving home from school one day, and I realized my sister was calling me. I immediately knew something was wrong because she doesn't usually call me around that time, so I decided to pick it up. Immediately, I knew something was wrong. The tone of her voice was shaky, and she explained to me that my brother had just been hit by a car. Immediately, I had to calm myself, and I asked if he was okay and if she knew anything about the situation. She said she didn't know much, but she knew that he was hit by a car and that I needed to get home as quick as possible. After that, we hung up, and I knew that I had to call my mom because she was at work and she did not know of this news. I called her and I tried to stay as calm as possible so that she didn't start freaking out because it is her son. I told her that CJ had just been hit by a car and that he was going to be okay, and I didn't know much more than that. On December 30th, 2025, was when my world got flipped around in our entire family. That was when my brother had gotten hit by the car. It was in our community, and he was riding his bike around with some of his friends, and he had turned into the road when a car was not looking and hit him. The car threw him 18 feet, and he suffered a fracture in his left leg. I was still driving home when I knew this news, and I was obviously very nervous, but I knew I had to get there as quick as possible. When the EMTs arrived on scene, they determined that the injury was too bad and that they had to get a helicopter to airlift him to Tampa General for emergency surgery. I didn't get to see him before they loaded him onto the helicopter, but I got there in time to watch it lift off, and that was a moment that I will definitely never forget. At that point, I went home with my sister and my dad, and we all got into the car and drove straight from our house to the hospital. We knew that my brother was all alone and he was undergoing all these surgeries by himself, and we knew that the faster we got there, the more comfortable he would feel. Once we got there, we had to get our stickers so that we were able to enter the hospital in the room that he was in. And my mom was still at work because she was in the middle of work, so she had to call off and drive separately. Me and my sister and my dad got there first, and my sister and I were the first ones in the room, and he had a bunch of cords hooked up to him. And when we first walked up to him, he was a little daisy. He didn't really know what was going on, but I grabbed his hand and he started crying. That was also something that I will never forget. After that, he undergo 2 more surgeries that night, and me and my whole family stayed there the entire night, making sure he was safe and comfortable because that is a very hard situation to be in. Some of the things that we found at the scene was his bone, which was 3 inches long, and it was in the grill of the Toyota, the car that hit him. So we had to take that to the hospital as well so that they could determine if they needed to use it for surgery or if they needed to use it or if they didn't need to use it at all. Because sometimes when that happens, the bone could be dirty and that they won't be able to use it anymore, so they have to use a filling. The conclusion of this story is no matter what happens, how scary or awful a situation is, it isn't about what happened, it's about how you handle it.